And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for yourself.
We are the last Americans. We are the last Americans. We are the last Americans.
Yo-yos.
Yo-yo.
Hello, family.
Whatever happened to yo-yos?
Yo-yos?
Dude, they're fucking cool. Walk the
around.
dog, bitch. Come on now.
Man.
They're still around, right?
I know they're still around, but like there was such a craze back in the day.
You remember when we were younger and they came out with those ones that like you could do it like there was like the trick yo-yos.
Oh, yeah.
And you could do like all the
the
easily
cradle?
walk the dog,
Yeah.
and then like
Yep.
they had the lights and
Oh,
shit
yeah.
in them.
I remember like Greg, I think you were there, right? Elementary school, like I don't know, 3rd grade, 4th grade. They had a yo-yo guy come and like
Yeah, it was like a yo-yo assembly, bro.
Yeah. And then after that, during recess, they had a yo-yo table and you could buy all the yo-yos. Like they had
Yeah.
all the. I bought like 3 or 4, and I was like, yes, this is so rad. And I
Like-
was never good.
How low on the totem pole is that guy as far as like a salesman? Like,
Shit.
hey, yeah, I sell yo-yos. Can I
Yeah.
come to your school and like show the kids some cool stuff? Like walk the dog. We got the frickin' cradle thingy, dude.
I think you're right.
Hey, kids,
I think you're
know what I
right.
mean?
But we all loved it. Like, to be honest with you, I remember thinking like, this guy's really cool, dude. And he probably was.
Yeah.
Like, he's probably like a pedophile. I don't know. But, hindsight.
Oh yeah, he probably did. He's like,
Yeah, he's like,
oh, come here, walk the children. Wait a second. This one's walk the
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah, because I mean,
Why are your pants
goes
down,
to-
son?
Who goes to a school just to sell yo-yos? That's weird.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little funny, dude. If you looking back, but see, this was the early 90s. You know what I'm saying? Like, they
Yeah.
didn't
Hey,
really,
mom,
you know?
I just bought a yo-yo and the guy touched my wiener.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second. That's not right.
Yeah. Or you say something like, I'm supposed to meet him at his house to pick it up. And your mom's like, no, you know?
Well, and then I also remember like the chocolates that we were supposed to sell.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Like
sure.
as far as like this fundraiser type thing, you'd take home this big box of chocolate.
Yeah.
I would just shove it under my bed and then eat it at night. You know what I mean?
I never,
Like, I don't know
never
what
did that.
happened to it.
Yeah, I know. My mom, like my family would buy some, but I never really got into that. You know, like the whole like selling chocolates thing. I never was like,
I did it once.
yeah, it wasn't. But like for baseball, right?
The
Or,
chocolate
like,
bar things?
yeah.
I mean,
like
I never
fundraising.
sold them, but I've bought a lot of them.
Buying them's one thing.
Oh,
I
yeah.
agree with you on that. I'd even buy my own. You know what I'm saying? Because
I think I had to buy the ones that I ate.
Remember,
It's like,
dude, they used to have the
Sorry, Mom.
chocolate bars and the Tillamook jerky sticks.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? You got a wad of jerky, and it was like the most jerky you've ever held in your hand at one time. And you're just like, oh my God, it's so good. Yeah.
and it all
Yeah.
smelled delicious, like chocolate
Shit.
and jerky in the
Oh,
same box.
God,
You're like,
dude.
oh my God.
It's orgasmic. That was porn before porn. You know what I'm saying? Like that was,
Oh yeah.
yeah. You know, we were like getting off on chocolate bars, you know?
And yo-yos.
And
I mean, come
yo-yos.
on, dude.
Oh,
Chocolate
Jesus.
and yo-yos, yeah.
Trifecta.
It's good stuff. Anyways, hey, we got some fun topics today.
Yeah.
Got some interesting
do.
stuff. I want to start off real quick with because I know it's been talked about and it's kind of like trending right now, but the whole migrant credit card deal, the debit card, credit card. Have you heard
Uh-oh.
about that shit?
What's going on? They're giving them credit cards now or
they
debit
sure
cards?
Are. They sure are. Well, so people, you get on TikTok. I'm on there.
What is that? Espanol business trader or something?
Yeah, something like that.
EBT?
So the
Okay.
mayor of New York came out and said that in order to save money, they're going to give immigrants debit cards. They want to be very clear that it's a debit card. It is not a credit card, right?
So is
And-
this to track them?
Well, I mean, listen, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Maybe.
Mhm.
But here's the deal. So they're allotting $53 million for this program. It's pretty significant money, bro.
Jesus.
And so people are really upset because, listen, all the information hasn't been out there. So people are saying, like, this is, and rightfully, this is bullshit. Like, they're coming over here. They've never paid a single tax. They've never worked a minute in this country. You know, they're not citizens, yet they're getting a fucking debit card with money on it. They're getting free food, free housing, dude. You know, the whole nine, right? They're just living good.
Free. Oh yeah.
So
It's not free though. It's really our taxpayer money.
Yeah. So Mayor Adams is he created this program. It's $53 million prepaid cards are going to be going out. Now, here's what's weird is like people are really up in arms, and I get it. What they're claiming is, I don't know. They're claiming that they're going to give each immigrant will get one card. Okay. $12 a day per person for 28 days. Okay. That's what they're saying. $12.50, I think is what it is. And they say you're only allowed to buy food.
Well, so
diapers.
after the 28 days, does the card explode and then they die? Is that the deal? Or
It's like a countdown.
because then it's worth it. Okay, then
whoa.
just mass genocide. No, I'm kidding.
I know. So here's my thing. First of all, it doesn't that fucking math is not mathing up. You know what I'm saying? It's not making sense to me. You got $53 million program. They claim there's only 500 migrants who are going to get the cards at $12 a day. So what's that? What's that math right there? That's what
12
6,
times
000?
28 is what?
6,000? No, what's
I have no idea.
I
Someone
actually,
get a calculator, please.
Here we go. So 500 immigrants, they get
6,000.
Yeah, $6,000.
$6,000
per day.
a day
For 28
times
days.
28 days.
And that is $168,000.
$168,000. But
So
they're allotting
53
million to this.
So yeah, first of all, I want to know where exactly is that 53 million? Like, why do we need that much money if you're only, and the other part is let's say that it's not just 500. We actually did the math on this earlier. Let's say that it's not just 500 because I actually didn't see that till this article. They didn't say anything about that, but they're saying that they're going to get, $12.50 a day for 28 days. So times 28, that is $350 a month per person. Right.
So does any of this money go to like the vendors who are supporting this
It's
EBT special card or?
So supposedly it's not like it's not vendors. It's like you can use it at any grocery store, market.
So they're loading. I'm assuming this says migrants would be able to refill the cards every 28 days if the program yields positive results. So they're getting a larger lump sum on the card right off the bat.
But like the problem is it's not
You
just
can
like
refill it every 28 days.
yeah.
So.
Yeah.
The problem is it's not just like,
so they're
like
getting
what you were saying, Greg.
They're getting more money than I make a month. $6,000 a month.
They're not getting.
Or no,
$6,000
that's
a
for
month.
everybody.
They're only getting $350 a month on the cards.
Oh yeah, okay.
But my
$12 a day.
My point is they don't have like, so when you have like a food bank or like like the cheese and fucking bread kind of thing, you can really kind of watch who's getting it and who's not, like what they're getting. Or even WIC, right? WIC, you have to actually get specific items and then you have to, fill out these little sheets and all this other bullshit.
Yeah.
They're just saying that you have to go to grocery stores, markets, Minute Marts, and so forth, and then diapers. But my thing is $12 a day. Like, let's be real. That buys you one McDonald's meal. Okay. If you're just going fast food, try buying diapers for $12. They're saying it's for groceries and diapers. Like,
good luck.
You're going to have to spend 5 days worth of fucking, 5 days. And listen, let's be real. Those Mexican babies, they have tacos. You know what I'm saying? That'll make you shit. So there's going to be a lot more diaper use. And so,
so I imagine they're going to get it all like the 28 days worth on the card at once, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it wouldn't make sense to be like, $12.
Because
I'm going to give it to you every. They're just saying it would break down to $12 a day. You know how people go like, hey, join our Patreon. It's $5 a month. That's like a coffee, one coffee a month or something,
Yeah.
You know what's going to happen, right? Where the rest of this money's going.
Where?
They're creating
the tunnels.
They're
the Jewish
creating
tunnels.
this program, and now they have to hire all these people that are already within the federal government to run it, and then they got to pay them to run it.
Oh, okay. That might be it. Sure. Yeah.
So
But
they're
here-
going
yeah.
to spend thousands on giving them money, and and the other millions are going to go into the pockets of the already federal employees.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't add up. Like, right? If first of all, it's only 500. That really doesn't add up. But we did the math, and if $300 or $350 per person, okay, at $53 million, that is 156,000 immigrants that would be getting it, right? They're claiming only 500. But here's the thing: if you look down here, right, this spot, the mayor's project will cost the city $12 billion by the end of 2025. The state also has incurred a $1.9 billion price tag for the 160,000 illegal immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
So that number actually adds up to what we were saying, that if you were to give $350 a month, a month to each immigrant, it would be about 160,000. But here's
are they starting with the 500 and then rolling it out to more?
Possibly.
That's what it sounds like.
But how much did Trump ask for the wall, Greg? Remember when with the whole border wall?
I have no idea. I don't know.
It was like $8 billion. He needed like $8 billion or $10 billion.
Yeah.
They're spending $12 billion just by the end of this year on this program, New York City alone. Like, see, my problem is
that's like a weekend for Ukraine funding.
I know.
You know what I
Well, yeah, if you want to go that route, absolutely.
that's a nice Saturday's worth of expenditure.
Yeah, that's just one day.
I'm just saying we could have put the fucking wall up and saved all this money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying the wall would have fixed everything, but
Build the wall. Build the wall.
God,
Build the
dude,
wall.
it's like, and people
But
are
they still have those tunnels, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, you could build the wall, but they're going under that wall. You know?
Fill,
Yeah, I know, but-
fill those holes.
Listen.
Fill those
Yeah.
holes.
Yeah, drain those holes, flood them.
they should just turn each hole into a porta potty, right? You know what I'm saying? And then that way they just get
Sewage
loaded
drain.
with shit.
Yeah.
Well, see, I listen, I agree with you, but the holes, the truth is the holes are going to get people through, but like they're not going to get people through in the same realm as just walking across the river. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna happen. People are gonna go through, but it's gonna like mitigate some of that. Like when you see those mass thousands of people at Eagles Pass, like that's try getting those people in a hole. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, the hole will limit the size and the
for
rate
sure.
of flow.
And that's
you know?
that's all we need though. We need
Yeah,
to
but
like
how many
limit this
how many
shit.
overweight obese people do you even see coming across the border?
Well, they're all military men. So
Oh,
not-
you think they're that? So there's a weight limit. They send them down to the hole. Go.
Oh God.
Too heavy, go down the hole.
Oh,
You know,
maybe.
like 300 pounds plus. You got to go
fucking-
down.
I don't know.
Plugs that hole up, dude.
Oh,
Ruins the
shit.
whole fucking entourage. Yeah, no, that's not good, man. But people are upset, obviously, and I've seen a lot of videos, especially from the black community, man. Right? Lots of videos, because you got to understand that like there's a lot of people in this country that are not paying attention to this stuff or have not for years. We've talked about this in nauseum, right? And like they're just now understanding, because when you talk about money, right, funding, especially for people that are in lower income situations that depend on the government for some help, right? When you see that they're getting $52 million and you're struggling to pay your bills, sorry, Chris is adjusting my light.
Yeah, you got a strobe light going off, bro.
Okay, but like that upsets people. You know what I'm saying? Like people are struggling to eat or pay their bills, and yet here are these people that one black lady was saying, she's like, they're literally getting rent. They're getting housing, they're getting food, and they're getting donations and their clothes, and they're staying in airports and cop plate, and now they're getting a debit card. Like it doesn't matter how much is on it, they're getting it for free, bro. And so that might be I think for a lot of people, money is what's going to make them switch. You know, it's not the politics or the fucking Epsteins and shit. It's money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it begs the question: why are they doing it? It's almost like they want to lose. You know what I mean? It's like I think that they're trying to persuade illegals to vote one way because they're like, hey,
sure.
if you vote for us, we'll continue giving you this money.
Sure.
Same thing as people who are on welfare. Same thing as people who have debt as student loans,
Sure.
mortgages. Well, not mortgages, renters.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying, like, they use the money ploy and they give you quote unquote free money as a way to harness the vote.
I 100% agree with you. That word's weird.
Is that the right word?
I don't even know.
But
he was making up words.
it's like
it sounds good though. You know what I mean? It sounds right.
There's more of us than there are of them. That's the problem. So it's like it behooves the Democrats to be doing this in front of our eyes, and we see it and we go, wait a second, I'm not that dumb.
Well,
I know that that's wrong.
Sure.
So like it just like, why are they doing it like this?
Well,
you know,
so
it doesn't make sense.
I think you're right. I think I think most people agree that like it's a vote thing, right? They're trying to like get a vote. And by giving them all this stuff, that kind of, they'll remember who gave them the money. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it wasn't the Republicans that did this. It was, Mayor Adams that did this, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, now if you like step
it's because they're Papa Roach and this is their last resort.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Cut my life into pieces.
you freaking racist. You're calling Mexican roaches. How dare you?
That was dumb. Sorry.
Jesus, man. They should get like a full-blown immigrant to sing that song, dude. I'll cut my life
This
into
is my
pieces.
last
Suffocation,
resort.
no bleeding.
Yeah. Bust in New York City. God damn. No, what I'm saying is if you look outside of that realm, right? Like the other possibility to why this is happening is that they literally fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And now they are, because I don't think any of these major cities that claim to be asylum cities or whatever the fuck, like where they're bringing it, I don't think they ever thought it was actually going to happen. Right? You know what I mean? Like
yeah, they did, dude.
No,
yeah, they did.
I don't think so, dude.
I think they did. Yeah.
Why?
I think they did because, like you're saying, they want to eventually outweigh the population with illegal immigrants. Well, Chris was saying. Chris, I think you were the one saying that. But someone was saying they eventually will, tip over in certain spots where it matters, where the vote matters. That's
you-
where
well,
they want
they've
these
said
people
that for
to
a long
outweigh.
time. There was a video circulating just the other day where Biden was saying, when he was a senator, saying that their plan was to have a huge influx of immigration, and the white population in America would be the minority.
That's already a thing. I remember several years ago, white people are like, they became the minority in this country.
Yeah, but and
You know
that,
what I mean?
like at the end of the day, like that does not matter to me, right? Like I don't care. I mean, where we're at right now,
Well,
I'm the minority.
I guess it's not just white. It's American born would be the minority.
Well, so there's like a weird line because like immigration is a huge part of this country, right? And people come over here all the time, become citizens.
Well,
they
yeah.
legally become citizens.
Yeah.
So to me, they're Americans, right? At that point, like once they swear the oath and they're here, and no one has an issue with that. You know what I mean? Like the whole like there's too many of this and that. Like that's a non thing for me. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is most of the people I feel like that are coming don't really want to be citizens. And to be honest, like I understand that what you were saying that you actually think that is, but how is I still don't understand how that's helping their vote. If they're all hunkered down in the downtown New York City or downtown Chicago, which is where they're at, like that's not improving anything for them. Like they're not in the districts or certain suburban areas or rural areas where those votes would matter.
So let's back up. This is all based on quote unquote conspiracy theory that illegal immigrants are voting. Okay. That's a conspiracy, Dave. Illegal immigrants do not vote. Wink, wink.
They cannot vote.
They cannot and they do not vote. How could they?
Well, they're
Our
not,
law
so
does
they're not supposed
allow
to
that.
vote for presidents, but they can vote for local government. Which may, but that may be
if they're given driver's license, you know, or if they're given some sort of card.
Well, they're not given driver. They're not supposed to be given driver's license like that.
Okay, well,
not saying it doesn't happen. I'm not saying it doesn't
you know,
happen. I'm just saying they're not supposed to be getting driver's license.
It wouldn't shock me.
They're not
right?
supposed
because
to,
they're getting debit cards for free, so they wouldn't just get some sort of random ID like here's your ID card. You know, take this.
I'm just trying to figure out like where this helps them because of the vote.
Because it registers them as a body to send a ballot to. I don't know if does that make it clear? I mean, it has them as a 1+ in the ballot department. We can send this body a ballot.
Sure. Okay.
So I'm just saying then you can do whatever you would like with that ballot. I'm not saying what would happen.
See, the problem with that
imagine.
is like we haven't got all the evidence yet of exactly. We know that something's going on. We knew that something was going on, right? But we haven't seen that evidence of like, especially when you're talking about state to state, for example, right? Like we've seen people dropping things in mailboxes or like the drop boxes. We've seen that like that. We've seen video of that shit. But like,
I mean, the thing to me is like Steven Crowder actually proved this live on camera. He went to a ballot, like a home address where they sent ballots, and it was a street corner. You know what I mean?
I know that was that. Listen,
I'm just saying you just need a body, a physical body, and then you can make up a fucking address and say Jorge lives on the corner of 42nd Avenue. I'm going to send him his ballot.
I think that's very possible.
There it goes.
I think that's very possible. Absolutely. Listen, I'm not arguing
and then you
that
could
it's not
also
possible.
send one to George to the same place.
There you go.
I guess what I'm saying, all of what you're saying is absolutely true. I'm just saying like the other part of it is that they fucked up. And I think that like we've talked about this outside of this particular topic. We have said this all the time, right? There gets a point where they eat their own.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole left ideology will eat itself because it's so like broad and so like everybody's so offended by everything that eventually it's going to get them.
Yeah.
And I think that's like, I'm not saying that's everything, but these mayors came out and they said like, we welcome everybody. We're never going to do. But then the minute that like Texas buses these people to their state, their minds blow. They have because they actually have to work now. They have to figure out, holy fuck, we don't have the money to actually say what do what we're saying we're going to do. Right. Mm-hmm. And so like, I understand that they're trying to figure out how to alleviate some of the money issues that they have because there's people everywhere. Okay. So like part of it is that they're eating crow right now. You know what I'm saying? Like they are like, they should have.
So
just
my
paid
thing
for the
is
wall.
like, if they're freaking out about the people coming in, why could they not bribe them to go somewhere else? You know, just be like, oh, well, here, if you go over here and do this for me, then we'll do X, Y, and Z for you. You know what I mean? Like, if they're already coming here and, like the stories that are saying like the immigrants that went to New York and received the free goods, it wasn't good enough. So then they were leaving because it wasn't up to their, standards. So it's like stories like that where you're going, was it really not up to their standards, or were they told to go somewhere else so that way they could spread out the impact? Am I right?
To go somewhere else, like initially, like from Texas?
No. From New York.
Okay.
So when they're going to New York, they're going into these apartment buildings. Remember all of these buildings that were created for immigrants?
Sure. Yeah.
The story was that a lot of them were just like, hey, I'm sick of being here.
Yeah.
And, there are like cherry pick stories that came out saying like there were violent males, like over sexualized males doing things. And then you had families trying to live there with
That's
children
very
and
believable.
stuff.
That's very believable.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, well, or were there just a bunch of people that were told, hey, go to this place and you'll have it a lot better. And we have something set up for you, in this other territory.
But when you say go to this place, like, what do you mean by that? Do you mean like go to this?
Like go to a different state where you can help us?
They're not paying for them. That's the problem, is that like Texas is paying for buses to be sent to these other places, right? Like they've come out and said, like, we're going to pay for buses to ship them to fucking these sanctuary cities, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. New York, for some reason, are not doing, like, you don't see that. Like, they
didn't pull a Martha's Vineyard.
No, they
didn't turn around and be like,
there.
oh my goodness, these
They're
poor people, we
hanging
have
out.
to get them out of here as soon as possible.
I mean, dude, listen, like,
because then that hurts them even more.
It does hurt them. That's what I'm saying.
If they were to show up and then be like, we got to get them the fuck out of here, then it goes against everything they were just preaching.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They have an ideology that they have been abiding by, and now that they're facing the ideology in the face, they don't know what to fucking do about it. They don't.
Well, that's why they ship them out at night, Dave. Remember these stories of the asylum airplanes that are landing in all these different states at night? Biden is shipping them across the country at night by airplane. There was like several of them that landed in Rochester, New York. There was a couple of them, I think, in Texas. There was a couple in a couple other states.
Sure.
But it's like, that's what he does, is they can't do this in the public eye, so they do it at night.
Yeah, I understand that. Listen, I'm not disagreeing with you, man. I think you're right. I definitely like am on your side on this one. Like, I understand all of those things. I just like, I want to believe that like some of these people that we think are crooked and fucking stupid, these Democrat leaders, I want to believe that some of them are like, man, this was not a great idea to say, because then once you say it and then you get all these weirdos who back it, right? Then you can't back away from it. You know what I'm saying? Like, once you like step over that line and then you go back and be like, well, actually, we can't do this. Then they all fucking, because they don't get it. They're like, what? We love immigrants. I feel like they're stuck. Like, I don't like Mayor Adams is kind of a piece of shit. Obviously.
Are they really though? Because
I think they are, dude.
They're going to win no matter what, right? Like Democrats always win certain parts of the country.
I'm not convinced that like that. I'm not convinced that that's the case here. I feel like the game plan might have been for open borders so that they could go to red areas and populate those areas, right? And maybe have especially like those close call areas.
Make them purple.
But the problem is and I stand with this, when Texas sent them out, and I know you're not a huge fan of it, but when I love it. And I've said it, like when they sent them to Chicago and they sent them to New York, I understand the argument that like we're sending them deeper into the country. But we're sending them to areas that really they could have 1 million immigrants and it's not going to affect, it's still going to vote red or blue. You know what I mean? Like it will still be blue.
But I'm just like, what makes you think that if one state sends them to another state, that the state that's receiving them cannot ship them to a different state as well?
But the problem is what states right now are paying for immigrants to do things and what states are not. Like they could go to New York City and get a credit card, get food, housing, stay in a fucking airport, and have all these like luxury.
Yeah, so it benefits them to go there.
It benefits them to be in the blue area, because if they come to Texas or they go to Arkansas, like good luck getting a prepaid card. Good luck getting all these services that you have. That's what I'm trying to say. You have to squash those so that they don't want to be here, because they're going to want to go. So they're like, I have no jobs. If you have a place where they're not hiring, you know what I'm saying? Or they won't allow them to get a job without a card.
What I would like to know is how many of those immigrants have been in this country longer than what is like the status needed to, how long do you have to live in a certain state to say, I have a permanent address here, so I get to vote in this state?
So like if you have a green card, you know what I'm saying, or like a work visa, I should say. Like the guy I used to work with, my boss, a great guy, dude, but he had a work visa. He was I don't think he was a citizen. I think he just had a work visa, man. He spoke English, you know what I mean, like the whole nine, like very like good hard worker. But he was going to have to, if I'm not, I could be wrong, so I don't want to, but he was going to have to get his, go through the whole thing to become a citizen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so the other gal that was in the family, brother married a Mexican woman. Okay. She spent 5 years here with the visa, and it took 5 years for her to get citizenship. A lot of money in 5 years. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I feel like these people are very evil. The people that run certain parts of the state, as far as like the immigration policies, the standards and all this stuff, and like the legal repercussions of all this stuff. I don't know that much about this, but I feel like when you're that in depth in it, and you do have an evil mindset, and you kind of know the loopholes on how to fill in these little bubbles and be like, well, technically we can kind of get away with doing this if we just let them go to this state for a little bit and then come on back, or vice versa, just keep them in New York for a certain amount of time. I don't know if any of those things have changed, all of those rules, or from state to state, if there's different rules. So I feel like they have a game plan that no one's really looking at.
I understand that. Yeah.
Because they know the system way better than anybody else does.
I understand that. I think when you really look at it from a surface level without being biased on either side, like what kind of life are you going to have? Right? Like eventually the government's not going to pay for something for you. You know what I'm saying? Eventually. And eventually these people are going to have to find jobs to support and let's be real, Mexican families are generally large. Okay. So they're going to have money coming in to support their families. They will.
Well, and that's the sad part, is that most of these people, I don't know if they realize that they're being pawns. They're being used by our government to do something. Like, we don't know yet. We're just speculating, but we think it has to do with an election.
Sure.
But they're being used as pawns. They're political pawns.
Yeah.
The government doesn't give a shit about them. And also, they're being put in a position that makes people dislike them a lot.
It does.
Well,
right?
And there's some of them that are just there for, I don't even know, taking advantage or just pawns, and pawns too, but useful pawns, I guess. Because just like that story that came out the other day of those immigrants that beat the shit out of that cop or whatever it was, and then they get arrested, and
there's a lot of there's bad apples in every group.
Off the cameras and stuff.
Dude, there's
I'm just saying, like, collectively, if you're a family crossing the border and like you're seeking refuge or you're seeking a better opportunity for your family, the government is using you.
Well, to an extent,
and they're turning you into this faction where the American people are turning against them now. You know what I mean? Like, the people in New York are turning against the immigrants because the state is giving the immigrants money and not them. You know what I mean?
But here's the thing is I can sit back honestly, like, yes, I'm frustrated with the immigration situation. Like, we all are, right? Like, I don't necessarily like look at the immigrants as like, you fucking piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like, I understand why somebody would want to come to this country. Like, I understand that. Like, we do have a great country, even though it's rough right now. But we have a good country. I understand that. So it's not
but
so
can
much.
Can you see how, like, if you lived in New York and you weren't given free money and you're like paycheck to paycheck and you need that money, and you see someone else down the street who's here illegally get that money, how that rage could build up?
Yes, I do understand that. But what I'm saying is like, why is that anger not driven towards the politicians that allow that to happen? Because
it never is, dude.
I know,
that's
but the
what they do.
immigrants
That's
are
what
going to
politicians
come.
do.
Like, right? If you took the border down 100%, right? Like, the amount of flow, just people wanting to be here would be insane. Like, absolutely insane. And is that the immigrants' fault, or is that the fact that the politicians can't do what they got to do? You know what I'm saying? Because like, there's good workers that come over here. There's people that work hard and want to be a part of society and want to build something for their family.
If we take down the wall, that means that we did not do our job as a country and we lured them in.
I agree.
And that's what we're doing right now. We're luring immigrants in and we're saying, we can provide for you. We can give you free shit. We can do all these things for you, but we really can't. And it's to the detriment of the American civilians who are already here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And everybody's saying, well, wait, what about the homeless we already have? What about the veterans? What about all this other stuff that we need to take care of before illegal immigrants? You know what I mean? And everybody is starting to understand that, but it's still happening. And then they're still going to win.
But see,
so
the problem is, you've said it before, man. There's a certain time that you can say things. You know what I'm saying? Like in the political world, you have to be like strategic about when you can act. Because here's the thing: we're coming up on election season, okay? And no matter what they think in their heads, like Mayor Adams, right, or even Chicago, or any of the situations where people are getting frustrated with the amount of immigrants, right? They can't control it. If they come out and say, we need to build a better wall, like we can't do this, you know what I'm saying? That validates Trump, and that's a victory for Trump. You know what I'm saying? So you can't come out and directly say what they're probably thinking, right? If they have any ounce of fucking morals in their system at all, they know that this is not working. They know it's wrong. They know these people are going to suffer because we don't have anywhere to put them, right? So if they have any kind of human in them, they would have to admit that the border is a fucking mess and that Trump was right. But they
just pull a Fauci and they just stick with the story, bro.
Yeah.
Stick with the story and just continue to lie, continue to be like, no, this is working. This is working. Come on, go get your second booster.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, it's you're in so deep to a story and a narrative that you've like built a bridge.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like your whole career, like Mayor Adams or whoever the hell, they've built their whole like foundation on this idea, and then they're just they can't just like admit that they're wrong.
I don't know that they've built their entire like I'm not saying Nancy Pelosi or AOC or any of these like big wigs, right? But like people can change. Like we congratulate people that hop the Democrat ship over to the Republicans, right? Like we can acknowledge that people can actually get into a position and then face things that are happening and then go, fuck, my thinking was all off. Like that happens, man. Like that, we can't just say that they're all evil and they're never going to change. Like Mayor Adams, I don't think he's a great guy. Like I'm trying to be, I don't know much about him. I don't think he's great, but there's no reason to say that he couldn't come out and be like, I was dead wrong on this. Like I thought we could do this. I thought the amount was not going to be that fucking
drink tap water.
Yeah, well,
that's what he would come out and say. Be like, did you drink tap water?
I'm just saying, like, I could see somebody changing their opinion. Like when it actually hits your
doorstep. They definitely can. I mean, Fetterman is a prime example of that.
Well,
he just changed his opinion. You know, he's still a freaking dumbass. But
he's a dumbass.
Like, yes, they can say something because it makes them, it shines a good light on them when they need it because it's optics. That's a political game, right?
Yes.
But how do you know that they're telling the truth? And that's always the problem with politicians is that you can never really trust them because how many times did Obama was supposed to be like the peacemaker. This is just an example, right?
Yeah.
But he started how many wars, in the Middle East?
Yeah, I
and
agree.
then same thing. Yeah. So it's just like, I feel like they're going to continue doing these things because they're entrenched. There's two ways to look at it. I think that they're personally doing it to bring in Donald Trump because it's like, that's the different conspiracy might have think. But if you look at it like from the realistic, whatever political side of things, they're too entrenched in what they've been doing and their idea. And this whole new world order system depends on breaking down America and leveling it to a level playing ground. So that way there are no nations above one another. Everybody's equal. And that's how you have a world that is a socialistic world. You know what I mean? Like there is no one that's above another country. And as if you look at it right now, the United States is top dog, at least one of them, right? As far as like the military presence goes around worldwide and our dollar. So how do you bring that down? How do you collapse America and bring it to its knees? You turn the military into transsexuals. You destabilize the dollar bill.
I mean, that's like a super, like, I mean, that's a handful of
how many of the military are actually
not many,
transsexuals?
Bro. Like
hundreds of thousands of trannies.
Listen, I think when you look at Mayor Adams, man,
I'm just kidding, but I'm just saying.
I think when you look at Mayor Adams, like, I understand you can't trust politicians, so you never know when they're truthful or not. However, I think when you do look at his situation specifically, because I've watched his interviews and some of his podium shit that he's talked about, if you think this certain way for so long, and then you come onto a podium in front of people that have voted for you, and you say, we have a fucking problem, a big fucking problem with immigration. You know what I'm saying? Like that in itself, like seems
Have
truthful.
people said that yet?
He has 100%. He has said like
So
we have
he
a
has
problem.
said it.
Yes, he has, and he said like we don't have the funds for this. We don't know where to put people. Like we have an issue. There's a fucking issue.
Isn't that why he went down to fucking whatever country, South America, somewhere down there, to figure out why they were coming here?
I don't remember that.
Mayor
maybe.
Adams did that.
Yeah, didn't he travel down somewhere to figure? I want to get to the source.
I just feel like look at Nancy Pelosi.
Hopefully
like,
he chugged the tap water down.
Nancy Pelosi can
Got a
take
little
the
bug.
worst situation, right? And she will always spin it as somebody else's fault, or we're on the right track.
That's what she did today.
Did she do it today?
Yeah, she did it about Biden.
Oh,
What did she say?
She
Here,
spun
I'll
something.
I
play
mean,
it.
off topic,
I'll
but
play it.
No, that's fine. It makes my point, I guess. Okay.
But yeah,
Actually, Joe Biden at his age is he has a big vision for our country. He brings the wisdom, the knowledge, the judgment of age, as well as experience. He knows how to get things done. He's a legislator, not a person to hold things up. And he has a big heart of empathy for the American people.
I like how she goes. She took an obvious situation that we know is crap, and she's spinning it that is he's got a big heart. He's a great guy. He's really good. And that's what I'm saying. Like Adams could have came out and been like, guys, we love our immigrants. We're gonna find a way to do this, and we're gonna make sure they're taken care of.
he's still saying that.
Listen, he wants to take care. Like who doesn't, right? You don't want him just living in the street, bro. Like obviously he's gonna say that, but he has come out and he said,
Don't care.
that this is a huge problem. It is we do not have the funds to do this all at one time, and we got to fix this shit. We got to fix the immigration because the cities cannot take it. Period.
Well, they know how to fix it. They know how to fix it, but
but-
that would definitely go against everything they just stood up for.
He doesn't control the Congress of New York, right?
I don't know, but what's,
No,
what's that to do with
he's
it?
just the mayor. The governor would
He's
be
just the
more
mayor.
about that.
Yeah,
So
but-
I mean, he's not the governor. He doesn't have anything to do with the legislative like branch there. Like
But what's
he can be the speaking, like he can speak of what the pangs are, and like it actually helps them, right? Because it's like obviously like speak some truth here, bro. You know what I mean? Like people can see that this isn't working. So if you don't say something, people are going to freaking riot.
No,
And so
dude.
that he comes out, he is like the voice of reason, even though in the background shit is still continuing to go on.
But I'm not talking about the background, Greg. I'm talking about just him. I'm talking about just a random Democrat who says something that eventually comes back on them. Like, I don't care about the legislation. We already know that they're probably a super majority in New York, just like California, right? We know that.
But just like how Biden says that he needs laws passed to have the ability to do something, they don't. They have the shit that they need to do whatever they need to do.
I am not talking about the actual policies that's happening. We know that's fucked, and they know that. To Greg's point earlier, we know that they're going to continue to do it. But what I'm trying to say is that these people that have been opening their mouth about how good this can be and we're accepting of everyone. Like, I know what you're saying, but like him coming out and saying that is going against what he said. And so his supporters are he's probably lost supporters over it. You know what I'm saying? I bet you he has. And so he's not just doing a Nancy Pelosi and being like, no, guys, calm down. We're going to make this work. It's fine. No, he's actually saying like, we have a fucking problem and we need more Democrats to admit that there's a problem in order for us to actually get some fucking legislation done.
Yeah.
We have to. You know what I'm saying? Because depending on who's running like if Trump gets in, but we lose the House and the Senate, that all shifts back and forth. Like nothing's going to get done, right? So we have to have people face these hardships and admit that they're wrong so that they can make sure that the legislation going forward is not wrong, because their people are going to start holding them accountable. They really will. New York will hold him accountable. Like, no doubt.
Part of me wonders, like, do they not think about the long game on this? Or are they thinking about the long game, and then this is all just part of the bumpy ride that gets them to where they eventually want to go? Because it's like, when you introduce the problem, you create a reaction, and then you have a solution prepared. I wonder what the solution would be for this.
Ew.
Right? Because we have the problem, an influx of immigrants or immigration, and you have the reaction. You have Mayor Adams coming out and talking, changing his stance on this, apparently. What is going to be the prepared solution that they have?
Well, just give them all citizenship. That's what they want to do. Then you don't have any illegal immigration problem.
For now, but like in a matter of a month, you're going to have another 100,000.
Yeah.
Because they already have an overpopulation problem.
I know. Listen, I'm not trying to abruptly change subject, but we do have a couple other things. Greg, you want to talk about Nirvana, bro, of all things. You want to talk about some Nirvana.
Yeah.
So not that that's not a great topic, by the way. That's a great topic we were talking about, but I want to make sure we're moving on too. So,
well, yeah. So, I mean, this was a quote unquote bombshell, if you want to call that. It was best-selling author Ian Halperin revealed why he believes that Kurt Cobain's coroner should have recused himself. So apparently, Cobain's autopsy report, which had never been made public due to Washington State's privacy laws, was leaked online last week. And this author of this book, he did this extensive kind of research on, did Kurt Cobain really kill himself? You know what I mean? Because that's always been like a conspiracy. It's like, so he put the gun, like he pulled the shotgun with the toe. Like it was all like just weird how they said that it was set up at his house, right? So Halperin is this author, and he claims that Dr. Hartshorn, who is the medical examiner, confessed during an interview with him in 1996 that he should have been recused from the autopsy because he said that he was a super fan of Nirvana and Courtney Love, and that he lacked the necessary expertise in toxicology to do the frickin' examination for the autopsy. Now, what's weird is like this Dr. Hartshorn died in a base jumping accident in Switzerland in 2002. And Switzerland's where like CERN's located, so where like the whole deep state is located. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
it's like there's a lot of cliffs there too.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is an accident. You know what I mean? So I don't know what this means, but Hartshorn is saying that, the best-selling author Ian Halperin said that the medical examiner, Dr. Nicholas Hartshorn, admitted that he had a conflict of interest when determining that Cobain killed himself.
So two things right off the bat that like are interesting to me is like, why would he say that he was, what was the exact thing that he was not fit
toxicology or whatever?
Yeah. What was that about the toxicology?
The toxicology.
Lacked the necessary expertise in toxicology.
So my thing is if you're a medical examiner, okay, enough so that you are able to get a body, come in, and that you do examination, okay, autopsy, why would you not be an expert in toxicology? Like that's part of, like that. Are you qualified or you're not? Like you've got a body. So
I think if you're the coroner, you're not necessarily doing like the blood testing and stuff. You're sending that off if you need to. They just not send it off anywhere? And just said that, he was.
And the other thing is, again, at the time,
they did. They sent it off. They said that he had substances. So Kurt Cobain had substances including morphine, codeine, diazepam, and then other opiates and benzodiazepines in his blood and urine, all this shit. But he also had 70 times the lethal dose of heroin in his system. That's what this guy's claiming in his book.
Well, see, did you not watch the movie that came out years ago, a couple years ago?
No, I did not, no.
Okay, so a lot of this stuff was already discussed years ago. That was one of the big ones is he had so many drugs in his system that like he, quote unquote, could not have done what he did, right? Like that's the argument. However, you can also like shoot up an insane amount and still have at least minutes to do something that you want. So, right, he could have went and shot up everything he had and pulled the trigger. You know what I'm saying? And then
I don't know. 70 times the lethal dose.
I'm just saying.
Well,
like, you shoot that much up in a matter of seconds, and then
I don't know. I don't know how long it takes for stuff to like. Does it take effect immediately?
Well, I think you can get the whole
from the movies that I've seen. It's pretty immediate. It's like, oh yeah,
yeah.
I mean, There's
listen,
people falling asleep. You know what I mean?
I'm sure that like a lot of those times that you're watching those. I've never done drugs like that, dude, ever.
Nah, me either.
So I'm guessing if you're already high as fuck and you shoot,
You've never done heroin, bro?
no,
Fuck.
absolutely not. No,
That's a
You've
trip.
never lived.
but see, if you're super fucking high, right? You're really fucking high and you need another hit, and you go take a big ass dose, right? Like you're gonna be like, oh yeah, you're already fucked up and you just got more fucked up, right?
Yeah.
Now I don't know what was going on. I don't know how much this is. So I'm just saying, like, it seems possible to me that you could shoot up and like if you're just shooting up a small amount, like a spoonful, right? Like that whole thing.
Yeah.
What if you take a lot more than that, right? Like, and here's the thing: they hold that bag of fentanyl and they say this little bag right here can kill the entire city of New York.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, somebody's doing fentanyl. Okay,
Yeah.
and somebody's doing it. So, like, if you're telling me that, because I like that one thing where and listen, fentanyl's bad shit.
The head of a pen.
The head of a pen could fucking kill you. All right, but I'm like, how do you even fucking do it then? Like, how do you even take fentanyl and just go fucking die?
Probably just dilute it in a liquid or something. But like to me, the interesting part is the relationship that this doctor had with Courtney Love.
Sure.
Because it's been claimed that Courtney Love killed Kurt, right? Like that's just the conspiracy theory. I don't know if it's been proven or not, but there's like that movie that you said
you got to watch that. That's really interesting.
That came out. It's like what, Kurt and Courtney or something like that.
Well, it's just it talks to the actual like the person that found them and all that. Yeah.
Yes, but this is a quote from the author, and he says, "quote He admitted to me that," and he's talking about the doctor. He admitted to me that he was intimately involved with Courtney and that he should never have been so presumptuous with what he put in the autopsy. He had admitted that it was a conflict of interest and that he should have recused himself from the case and then another autopsy be conducted. He said that he went on dates with Love. So he insinuated to me that he had something with her and said, quote, "I can't tell you more, but use your own imagination." His inference was that it was potentially sexual. So he potentially had a sexual or something more like a deeper relationship with Courtney Love.
Dude, if you want my honest gut feeling on this, I feel like this is fake as fake can get right here. Like I feel
it's
like
an author trying to sell a book.
This is an author selling a book. First of all, listen, I'm very like I wasn't a Nirvana fan. I'll be straight up with you guys. They're great. They have great songs, but I've never been a super fan of Nirvana. I thought there was way better bands, to be honest with you, in that time frame. That's neither here nor there. I've seen Courtney Love in concert in 1999, right when she came back and did that. Remember, she came back looking all dolled up and sober, and she had that whole. So I saw her back then. I can tell you this, like just seeing the picture of this guy, like I feel like there's zero chance that Courtney Love has any interest in this fucking dude. Okay, like look at who Kurt Cobain is. Yes.
Well, maybe not like long term, but if you're getting what you want out of it, why not use him?
But see, the problem is he's not saying that she said to do anything.
He doesn't have to. He got manipulated.
I know, but dude, listen, Seattle is big.
Well, yeah, and then
Seattle's
so the thing
big.
is
the
like
odds that he was going to get this. You know what I'm saying? The odds that that body was going to fall in his lap. There's probably tons of fucking. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, maybe she fucked a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, maybe she had a lot of
so.
influence. I mean, the word on the street is that Courtney Love was pushing drugs, like for the CIA, and that was like something that she was introduced into the band Nirvana to start this movement of the drug scene, right, and get everybody kind of drugged up and all that stuff. And so, if she had this relationship with this doctor, and she was being sexual with him, maybe she was doing so to get drugs.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Well, he was just a coroner, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he was just a fucking medical.
He was a
examiner.
medical examiner who had access to these types of things. You know what I mean?
He had
access to drugs.
To drugs?
Yeah. If you're a medical examiner, you can go into the hospital, right? You can go freaking. I don't know,
man.
Maybe you can't.
I don't think that's the case, but I feel like you would know better than I would, but I feel like that's not. They're not writing prescriptions for the dead bodies. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like that's not part of your MO.
Yeah.
But
I
that's
don't know
not
if
my
that's
point.
all
My
he
point
did
is
because
like
he wasn't qualified as an autopsy guy. But this guy he wrote a book.
Though. Like, what do you mean? That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. He wrote a book called Case Closed: The Cobain Murder and the Killing and the Cover-Up of Kurt Cobain. And so his main point is that the cops were steered away from investigating the star's death, right?
They probably
and that there was an ex-police chief, Norm Stamper, who said that there should have been a new investigation.
Yes. That's in the movie.
And that the purported autopsy report was published online by private investigator Tom Grant, who was initially hired by Love to investigate her husband's death. So the autopsy report was leaked by this guy who was hired by Courtney Love. So that it just like, what are the odds there? Like, that doesn't really make sense, right? Kind of seems fishy.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks
Like
because
fake fishy.
I believe that there's more to the story. I always have thought that. I don't know what I believe exactly about if he killed himself or not. I'm not sure. But I think Courtney Love knows a lot more than what she's ever said. And if you watch the movie, like there was like an assistant that was around, you know what I'm saying? There was some like weird shit, some weird people that were around that were associated with Courtney Love. And my ultimate point is like when you look at those people that she was hanging with at the time, at least from the photos and the videos and shit of the time, like this dude, this medical examiner is not one of them. You know what I'm saying? Like he is not in the scene. He's not in the fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like you're not banging Kurt Cobain and probably some other rock stars, right? And then going to fuck this little tubby fucking medical examiner. Like it doesn't make any fucking sense. It makes zero sense to me actually. And like the idea that there's only like it's not a small community. You know what I'm saying? Like Seattle's big. There's a lot of medical examiners, especially with a high profile guy like Kurt Cobain. They're not just going to drop it on some, well, they might, but I'm saying they're not going to necessarily just drop it on his table, right? If he's quote unquote unfit.
What if like she seduced this guy and like honeypotted him and was like, hey, you know, like let's go on some dates and all this stuff. And then she's like, hey, you got to do a favor for me, honey. This guy's dead and you got to make it look like a suicide.
Okay, but here's the thing. Here's the argument though, and I just said it. He is admitting all this shit to this guy, right? That they had this little affair.
Well, he's dead now.
Okay, but he did at the time. He admitted that they had an affair, that they had some romantic stuff, that he was a super fan, yada, 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 going on and on. Never says she tried to coerce me. Never says like she did.
He never even said that, Dave. All he said was, quote, I can't tell you more, but use your own imagination. So it's, to your point, it's never been, right? It's never been fully elaborated what happened.
I understand that. But what I'm saying is we don't have any proof. And like, if he's admitting all this other shit, like why wouldn't he come out and be like, I was unfit because I actually was coerced to do something. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like if you're saying all that, like you would, I don't know, man. It just sounds like a book thing to me. Like that's what this sounds like to me. Like, because the movie in itself with the actual police officers involved and the other people involved, the band members, like that, the coroner situation or the medical examiner situation was the least of the concern, right? Like
I remember like towards the end of the movie, it was something like the bodyguard or there was one of Courtney's friends that was like, oh yeah, it was probably this guy who did it.
Yeah, like the assistant person, whoever that was. And they were in the house and like, I'm just saying there's a lot of shit that doesn't add up. And there's stuff that can be explained, but I don't know. Unlike Tupac, I don't know that this will ever, because honestly, I feel like Courtney, she's never going to say anything, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like at this point, like it's not happening, dude. You know what I mean? And who else is there, right? Like the police showing up to the scene, that whole thing was a debacle in itself, right? Yeah. And they should have revisited the scene. They should have revisited the case. That's all been, like, at this point, I don't know if you could ever find out. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. Unless that assistant comes out and says, like, oh, man, Courtney actually hired me to kill the guy. You know what I'm saying?
Well, then he's tossing his own career away.
Yeah, and they found Tupac's murder,
Did
right?
they? You know, here's the thing. Did they?
Don't know. Apparently they did. That's what the news story said.
Or do sometimes like investigations and police, you know, do they sometimes like want to do this so they let people know like, hey, we looked at this case for 20 years and finally did it. Like we do stay on cases. You know, I feel like there's some like because no one knows any of these people they're talking about. And it's like there's no real proof that it was actually that.
They're just closing the case to be the
how
guy.
Many times?
I was the guy that closed the
How
Tupac
many times
case.
does the police arrest somebody for something and it's not fucking them? Just to
Well, dude,
get
that's the whole like
closed.
that's why the FBI is around. You know what I mean? Like they do things to justify the need for themselves. You know what I mean? Like, oh, look what we did. We solved these cases when they entrap people. You know what I mean? Like they set up these big stings so that way they can justify the funding and the necessary whatever. Like they, you know, you guys need us because look at what we did for this country and all this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
So
know, man.
same thing with the police force. Maybe they
it's a
do
weird
that for
one.
a quota.
It's a weird one. I struggle. I don't know. I struggle to believe that like a man. I know he was a depressing person. Like Kurt Cobain was
Kurt
pretty.
Cobain.
Yeah, I mean, you could just look at him and be like, man, that guy's.
Well, do you know why he was on heroin?
It was a medical.
It was a
stomach issue.
Yeah, it was a stomach like ulcer or something that like heroin was the only thing that took the pain away.
Yeah,
And so he
that's-
just kept on taking it.
That's what all
But,
drug
like,
addicts say.
I'm kind of with you when it comes to not really believing the story because it's about a guy making money off of his book.
100%. And that guy's dead now,
And
regardless of how it happened.
isn't
There's-
that how they all make their money?
well,
They
I
all
mean,
come out with a book, and then they all
Mhm.
make a
you
shit
can
ton of
tell
money.
though. Like you can really tell when somebody's like that movie. I thought was actually really good, right? Like it wasn't biased any certain way. It had people that were actually involved. Like they were just laying out what they have.
Mm.
So you could kind of make up your own mind. You know what I'm saying? But this guy wrote a book with the dude that supposedly said this is dead already, been dead for years, can't actually argue anything to it. So now everybody just believes or is going to believe that this medical examiner, he's just a fucking evil bad guy and he probably has something to do with it. Like, but there's no,
But what I want to know is why did this private investigator leak the autopsy report?
did he?
Supposedly, like that's not even confirmed yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. Ever since you've been saying that on this topic, like I feel like that was in the movie that like they were showing like the autopsy, like you know they do the photos of the body where it shows like where their damage was done and shit. Listen, I don't know. Maybe they haven't, but I kind of felt like they've had that autopsy out before because they talked about the drugs. You know what I'm saying? In the system, how much drugs were in the system? Like how would they have known that if the autopsy was never out for public? How would they make a movie talking about how much drugs were in a system if they didn't know from the autopsy report how much drugs were actually in the system?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it makes me think that the exam was actually like that autopsy was actually out before. You know what I'm saying? Because the cops wouldn't be allowed to speak on it.
I don't know. I don't know if they could just speak on whatever.
Well, if it got leaked,
You know what I mean?
that means that it existed.
I know, but like as far as like what they are able to say, it's just like Bob Saget. You know what I mean? Like the victim, like the family doesn't want
But that was the family
information.
That wasn't the state of Washington.
So maybe,
right?
so that's I don't know. Maybe Courtney Love didn't want this revealed. I don't know.
But he
I don't know.
he has
Was there any
children.
like bounds on that?
But see, he has children. And so at some point, just like Michael Jackson, kids are much older now and doing their own thing. Like his kids are older. Like, wouldn't they at some point in their lives go like, what happened to dad exactly? Like, wouldn't they want to know?
You'd think.
Like, wouldn't you want to know if your dad, like, did he actually
Francis
off
Bean.
himself?
Oh yeah.
You know, I don't know, man. Courtney Love is bad news, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I can say.
Yeah.
Like, I don't trust that woman. And in the case, I felt like her career was not going anywhere and his career was skyrocketing and there was money. It's kind of like Yoko Ono, dude. Like when she had all the fucking Beatles tracks, like there's money to be made from fucking Nirvana. You know what I'm saying? And as long as Kurt's here, that money can't be had, or he's not going to give her everything that she feels like she deserves. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of stuff always will stick to me as like, there's a motive for her to have that money come in. You know what I'm saying? That's all I think. But I don't know if I buy into this whole thing.
We will never know about Kurt Cobain.
We'll never know.
I don't know, man. I hope we know.
Isn't Frances Bean, Cobain's daughter, dating somebody famous right now?
No idea.
You see so many daughters of celebrities. I get them mixed up at this point, man. You know what I'm saying?
Or is it Frances? Yeah, it's Frances Bean Cobain. Oh, Riley Hawk. Yes, Tony Hawk's son.
Oh, really? That's weird.
Yeah.
That's pretty weird. Anyways, we got like a couple minutes left, right? We got like 3 minutes. I know we talked about it. You already kind of know about this, but I saw it on a podcast today. They were talking about it. You said it was on what show?
There was a clip of Stephen Colbert going around.
Stephen Colbert talking about it. It's about the Taylor Swift and the fucking football, right? We got Super Bowl this weekend. And you know me, I'm not a big fan of the whole number thing. However, I did tell you, Greg, like when you have so many on one event, it's a little weird, right? This one, okay, so this is, I broke it down real quick. And it's actually, it's rather interesting. So we got what Taylor Swift's favorite number is. You know what Taylor Swift's favorite number is? We talked about it.
Why would I know that?
We talked about it on the show. Greg's talked about it. 13.
13,
She
bro.
talks about
Come on.
13. It's her
Okay.
favorite fucking number,
Okay.
right? What Super Bowl are we getting it ready to go into this weekend? Chris will have no fucking clue. Greg, what Super Bowl is this?
58, bro.
58. What's 5 plus 8?
Oh God.
That's 13.
13. Okay, what day is the Super Bowl on?
Oh shit.
Is it this Sunday?
February
Sunday.
something.
What's the date? Sunday.
February 11th.
11th. So what's 11?
2
plus 11 is
11.
13.
All right. The Chiefs are playing the 49ers. 4-9. Come on, Chris.
13, bro.
13. What seed was the 49ers when they went into the playoffs?
Seed?
Yeah, it's a ranking. Like, what rank were they?
They were, I don't know.
Number 1 seed, Greg. Number one seed. What seed were the Chiefs?
3.
3rd seed. 13.
Jesus.
Taylor Swift is going to be in Tokyo the day before the Super Bowl, and she's going to have to fly from Tokyo to Las Vegas. Literally going to show up right before the game. Tokyo to Las Vegas. Looked it up. I have a picture of it. The flight takes 13 hours. All right.
Whoa.
It's that one right there. Look at that. I looked up tickets right here. You can click that shit, Greg or Chris. So everybody see. Look at that middle one. Delta right there. 13 hours, 26 minutes, dude. From Tokyo, Japan to Las Vegas, right? 13. The last one, guys. How many Chiefs games did Taylor Swift attend this year?
Don't tell me it's 13.
It's 12. She's
The Super Bowl will be her
but the
13th.
Super Bowl will be her 13th game.
Dang, bro.
Come on, man.
Okay.
Come on.
Dude,
Like-
actually, I
How
found
many
out some
months
more
have
right
they
here.
been
I'm
together?
I want to add some more to this.
Oh, I think I'm
Right?
I have no idea.
4.
Dude, this is straight up from an
Okay.
interview during or to MTV that she gave in 2009.
Yeah.
This is a quote. I was born on the 13th. I turned 13 on Friday the 13th.
Mhm.
My first album went gold in 13 weeks.
Yep.
My first #1 song had a 13-second intro. Every time I've won an award, I've been seated in either the 13th seat, the 13th row, or the 13th section, or row M, which is the 13th letter. Basically, whenever a 13 comes up in my life, it's a good thing. That was a quote.
Yeah. Yeah.
13, dude. She's a fucking
How
witch.
old is Taylor Swift?
13.
No. How old is she?
She's
she
33,
31?
or she was.
Oh.
She's probably 34 now.
Okay. Listen,
she just
I
turned
just think it's, it just, and then she dropped that she's releasing an album just the other day. My wife was super excited about it. So like you got all this
She's
shit
34.
going on.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
because she's going to win another Grammy. She won 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
Album of the year. She just won Album of the year.
No,
Do you know that?
no, I didn't. I don't pay attention to that shit anymore, dude. I really don't. I know Metallica won. That's the only thing
Well,
That's the
so
only thing
this
I
is
know.
what makes me think that they both sold their soul, her and Travis Kelce, because there was an article the same day, right after she won that Grammy,
Mm-hmm.
that said if Travis Kelce wins this Super Bowl, he will cement himself as one of the top tiered NFL, like all time tight ends. And I'm like, is his butt that tight? Like he's got that tight of an end? No, I don't know.
I feel
But it's
like there's been a lot of tight ends that won Super Bowls. Why would he,
right?
Well,
and
no,
a lot
I
of them
mean-
have been better than that.
Listen, Travis Kelce is pretty goddamn good, man. Let's be real. Like he's up there, but he's no Gronk. He's not.
Jason Witten. I mean, there's a lot.
He's better than Jason
Gonzalez.
Nah, dude. I listen. I think
Back in the day.
Gronk is probably the man. If you want to talk about the, listen. It's the whole Michael Jordan, fucking LeBron James shit, right? Like the people that remember Gronk back in the day, how dominant that guy was. There's other ones too that are great. He's going to be one of the greats in the tight end position. He will be. But like the whole thing's just so weird to me. Like the more I see it, because I wanted to believe like, maybe they do have a relationship. Maybe they do like each other. Like they're both celebrities. Maybe it works. I don't fucking know. But with the Super Bowl and the fucking new album drop, it just like the album drop is where I went like, this is definitely.
is Kelsey gonna break his leg on a first down on the third quarter?
No, bro, he's got that New World Order blessing. I don't know. I think I think the Chiefs are definitely gonna fucking win. That's for sure.
You think?
I feel. Oh yeah,
Is
I think
this-
that they've set it up because I mean, how many? I just saw Target selling Travis's boyfriend or Taylor's boyfriend sweaters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's like it's not just the NFL making money off this; it's everybody's making money.
What if
off
Taylor?
of
What if
Taylor
Taylor's
Swift.
a dude?
Oh shit!
There are dudes named Taylor, and now you're wearing a Taylor's
Oh, yeah.
boyfriend shirt everywhere.
Dave has a brother-in-law named Taylor.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Listen, I just think it's odd. I think it's odd. I don't really like it.
The spread is going to be 13.
I have to watch what I say around the house, man. I got to be very careful with my wife. Like she gets very.
Your wife's a Swiftie.
She's such a Swiftie.
But I think that Swift is going to endorse Biden again, and I think that they're going to use her as a tool to get online and get the Swifties to vote for Biden.
Oh, for sure.
Listen. Good luck.
Oh, can Biden and Trump show up at the Super Bowl be there at the same time, please? I just want to see.
Would Biden ever go to that?
Biden can't make it.
I just want to see a crowd reaction to each of them at the same time.
That ain't gonna happen. He can't.
They just stare at each other like.
they walk in and they're just nose to nose.
Oh, it's performing.
Old man.
Is T-Bone performing tonight? Post Malone.
You are so ugly, Joe. You are just so ugly. Look at that.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I just saw it and I was like, damn, that's a lot of 13s in one occasion. You know what I mean? Like, you get one, I don't really care much about that. Maybe two, whatever. You can find it if you want to, but that many? Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah, that's weird.
And you know what's funny is I want to know, when did she get, because she's been around for a while. What I was going to say was how old she was, because when she turns 31, that's the reverse of 13. Maybe that's when she's
34
evil.
right now.
So 3 years ago.
She turned 34 in December.
Yeah,
3 years ago.
Yeah, that was right when Trump was leaving office. So she got evil at that point. You know what I'm saying? It reversed, and she had that internal.
That is actually when her like music videos got more occulty.
It is when they got more occulty.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like her latest one, Karma. If you haven't watched that, I suggest watching that to see like the pyramids, the freaking one eyeball. Like she has like a bunch of shit in there, dude.
Yeah, it's not for me. You know, it's just not for me, dude. She's not for me. It's not my kind of music. It's not my kind of I think she sucks. She just sucks. As an artist and a person who likes music, and I know you love music, like, I just don't look at her
Better
as
watch your mouth, Dave.
I don't care. She, we're at the last minute. She'll usually shuts us off like 5 minutes before we're over, so she won't hear this.
Okay.
It's just not for me, man. Like, I'm glad people like her, whatever. But come on, man. She's definitely not the best artist right now. Like, it's not even close.
I mean, she's not that good.
No.
And I mean, do you believe that out of the top 100, she at one point held a spot of every single, like the top 10, every single song had Taylor Swift in it. There was like one song that was like a like Taylor Swift with somebody, but Taylor Swift had 1 through 10 of the top 100.
Yeah, no.
All of her songs at the top 10? No fucking way, bro. She's not that good.
No, she's not that good. But,
like someone's paying her off.
But like you listen to artists and you're like, how the fuck are they famous? And that's the same with her. Like,
I wonder if they put like hypnotic shit in her music.
Dude,
they're hypnotizing everyone and making
subliminal.
You know what it is? It's a dumbed down music. And so like you'll find that like some people that write songs say the dumber your song is, the more people will like it because it's not complicated. They don't have to overvalue or overthink anything. And people are like literally invested in her life, which is, it's like, so she's done a brilliant job of blending reality shows with music. That's what it is.
At my job, I've seen several houses with Swiftie signs in their yards.
It's fucking pathetic, bro.
Like they actually put signs in the yards to tell people that they're Swifties.
Well,
dude, that's sad.
If all hell breaks loose in this country, that's the first house you go to. You know what I'm saying? Like you just go.
That's the weakest one on the block, right there.
Hungry and I need a house. That's the one I'm going to. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think Beyonce handed the torch off to Taylor Swift because it was Beyonce winning every single award, right?
Oh yeah, and then Kanye. That's when Kanye got on stage and called it out.
Yeah,
I think Beyonce has never won album of the year.
She never has?
I don't think so. I think I just heard that she's won all the awards, but has never won album of the year. She's won song of the year and all this other shit, but never won album of the year. Because you remember Kanye had that thing, and then even Jay-Z was just up there talking about how Beyonce never fucking wins anything, dude.
Well, when Kanye interrupted Taylor Swift, that was her humiliation ritual into the whole Illuminati. That's what people say.
Yeah, probably. Man. All right, well, shit, guys. That was fun. Man.
Yep.
That was a lot of fun.
Good stuff.
A lot of fun, dude. Yeah. Fuck. We'll see you midweek. Make sure you
get on Patreon.
There you go.
Join the call-in show this Friday.
Yeah, buddy.
I don't know why I'm sitting like this. All right, guys. Have a good night.
Oh,
Greg,
yeah. Look
Chris,
at that arm.
Have a good night, guys. We love you all in the
All
chats.
Cheers,
later, guys.
Take care.